Hello everyone and welcome back to the DreamHack Open 2015 live from Tour. I'm Richard Lewis, your host on this panel. Next to me is Wax Angel, our resident StarCraft expert. And running back, because we've had a bit of catering come in, you can see we've got some lovely desserts here.
It looks great on camera, Richard. You've got to turn it around so you can at least kind of see the strawberries a little bit more. That looks a little bit better when you do that.
But anyway, and certainly a man of my ample frame is looking forward to eating all of them in a moment.
I like how the desk has just turned into a bunch of food.
But that's what I want. I'm getting a bottle of wine brought up as well. But
you didn't even ask if it was wine.
So that is Todd and Apollo over there. But while we're talking about things that France is famous for, we've got wine, we've got cakes. Another thing the French are famous for is cheese. So they'll have loved that last series, won't they?
Did you?
He's a great host, isn't he?
Mate, Team Liquid doesn't agree.
You know, sometimes when teammates meet, you see those very special series, and I think this might have been one of them. You know, these guys, I don't know exactly how much they practice together, but it's fair to say that if they practice a decent bit together, they know each other very well, so there was a lot of mind games, and in the end, he not only got the better end of things in terms of mind games, but even the way he handled, you know, especially that one cheese on Vanny, like, that was insane, man. This last drone, what a warrior.
Yeah, that series, I really haven't commentated a series like that in a long time. In all the WCS and all the DreamHacks, it's been a very long time since we've seen a series. And it wasn't just a map, it was the entire series. It was completely wild.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, obviously, you know, you had a vested interest in it all because your boy was there, wasn't he?
Right.
Your boy True. But he come through for you. Were you impressed with him, Sean?
It's hard to say.
Where's the macro?
Yeah. I mean, let's just say if he tries to play the same way against Gumiho, it's not going to work out as well.
Yeah.
And he'll definitely have a hard time against PartinG too. It's hard to say you can be impressed with the games like that. It's just more of an entertainment factor than anything
I'm not
else.
sure about that, though, because that's sort of who True is, and that's why people like him. He's unpredictable, he does the cheeses, but he's also entertaining. And
but there's no way he's going to win a tournament like that. That's the problem.
Well, I think this tournament might be that tournament because, like I said before, PartinG, even though he's looked really, really unbeatable in PvZ lately, like, one of his weaknesses is that sometimes he doesn't deal with unorthodox builds, some cheeses from Zerg that well. He lost that series of Soul Key lately. And I feel that even if, you know, PartinG's learned that lesson and tries to play safer, the thing is, what happened to Patience is Patience knows, he knew how True was going to play. Like, you know, True has that reputation, and he had it in the back of his mind. Despite that, he managed to lose to a lot of True's cheeses. So I don't think, yeah, I said, you know, a few rounds earlier that of all these guys who could possibly face PartinG, you know, I'm sorry to HyuN because I'm sort of like making him a foregone conclusion here, but still.
I love how we're talking about True versus PartinG right now.
Yeah, I know, this is bad.
But, you know,
right?
of the guys who could hypothetically face PartinG in the finals, I think True has the best chance.
All right, well, I hope you're right because that makes me right indirectly.
Yeah, and of course you would just love it because it's True. You'd have a bit of a dilemma there, wouldn't you, if True did make it to a final against PartinG? Again, obviously these are all assumptions at this point. We're not trying to be rude to any of the competitors here. But I mean, you know, who would you be rooting for?
True.
Really? Of course. But your prediction was PartinG.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You will sacrifice your prediction for True. Okay.
I would.
That's true love. Okay, so I think we're going to bring the schedule up now. I'm hoping we can bring it up. Sorry, the brackets again. They keep switching the order. It's not me. I'm a great host. So here we go. You can blame in production. I'm turning on them now. But look at this. Again, Sean, talk us through what we've seen so far and you know, kind of give us the tale of the tape for these two semi-finals coming up.
I think on the left-hand side, the one thing that stands out is that Fantasy was knocked out by HyuN, and that HyuN's taken himself in the position that I think a lot of people Fantasy would have been fighting PartinG for. And of course, PartinG's still a favorite for the entire of the tournament, despite whatever we say about True. On the other side of the bracket, I think we saw Hydra drop out a little bit earlier on versus True, but then again, in a very similar fashion, that guy is now in the semifinals facing up against Gumiho, who in my opinion was the favorite from the top part of that bracket.
I mean, actually, I just want to say that I think that victory over Hydra, which of course we didn't see it, so it's impossible to gauge, but just on paper, that's a hugely impressive result with the form that Hydra's had lately. Yep. And that sort of ties in with, I think, what Wax has been saying, that, you know, maybe True is the wild card now. Maybe this can be his tournament.
He is the wild card. Out of the 4 players that are left in there, I think out of all the 4, HyuN is the underdog. The wild card is True in kind of a underdog manner as well. And then Gumiho and PartinG are the 2 people, with PartinG being on top to win it all.
Can I just say, though, that the racial distribution is quite beautiful. You know, for the Final 4, even before that, you know, it's it's one Protoss, two Zergs, and one Terran in the Final Four, and it has nothing to do with the fact that all the Protoss were in the same corner, all the Terrans were in the same corner, and the rest of us, a lot of Zergs.
But no, it's interesting actually because there has been some patches lately, and the last two tournaments I've been sort of following and hosting and all of that. Zergs seem to have done really well despite the changes, which I thought was really surprising. I thought we were going to see Zergs drop off. Any reason for that, guys?
As well as the Swarm host play changed, the way that Protoss players played against Zerg was also changed over recently, and they're kind of working around this area where we're not really getting to the super late games as much anymore in Protoss versus Zerg. It's either that the Zerg kills the Protoss before they get powerful enough, or if the Protoss gets powerful enough, they kill off the Zerg. And we're never really getting to the stages that we used to get in that matchup when the Swarm host was changed. I think that's one of the key factors, at least, and Mech, I suppose, as well, against Swarmhost. We've seen bits and pieces of that, more so than Protoss versus Zergwax.
I feel like we've seen some tournaments where Zerg have done very well, like the Kespa Cup. But at the same time, I gotta be diplomatic again, as I was yesterday. It's a small sample size. We gotta see how people adjust to the new changes. We haven't really figured out how this is gonna play yet.
Okay, well look, what we'll do is we're going to go over this mix. Who's going to be with PartinG and HyuN for a pre-match interview. Take it away, Smix.
Thank you very much, Richard Lewis. I'm so excited to introduce our players for our first semifinal match here at DreamHack Open Tour. Please give a warm welcome. It is HyuN and PartinG! HyuN, I'm gonna talk to you first. You have been a StarCraft pro gamer for 10 years now. That is no simple feat. 10 years of pro gaming. You've been a consistent performer in StarCraft 2. You're also older than PartinG by a lot. You have so much experience under your belt. Will you be able to show him that experience can crush him today? 일단 이제 이렇게 경험이 그렇게 많고 이제 그 노련함 보여줄 수 있을 것 같은지.
일단 뭐 기본기도 밀린다고 생각을 하지 않기 때문에 뭐 그것도 있고 뭐 제가 워낙 오래 게임을 해서 그 센스나 그런 노련함을 살려서 한번 최선을 다해 보도록 하겠습니다.
So HyuN says, even when it comes down to the basic fundamental skills, I think that I'm just as good as PartinG is, if not better. And in terms of showing him my veteran's experience and power, I'll make sure to show you guys how strong I can be here today. Now, PartinG. When I spoke to you last, it was right after you had defeated Rain, and you said that after defeating Rain that you would have an easy road to the finals. But you're now against HyuN, and you can't ignore the fact that he has been a pro gamer for so long and has so much experience under his belt. Are you not nervous at all?
경력은 정말 대단하신 형이지만 그래도 클래스는 제가 좀 더 높다고 생각하기 때문에 호텔로 가시는 길 편하게 보내드리도록 하겠고 3대0 안 당하게 조심하셨으면 좋겠어요.
So PartinG says, I respect it. 10 years, that's cool. That his experience is respectable. That being said, I feel I'm just a different class in terms of, the pro gamer that I am. I think I'm of a different class than he is. And in terms of going up against him, I'll make sure to send him safely on his road back to his hotel room. So it's going to be a quick 3-0, so I hope he doesn't get too upset over it. Only one of these players will move on to the grand finals here at DreamHack Open Tour. Players shake hands. It's time to get this game ready for you guys. But before we get there, let's head back to our great host at the panel, Richard Lewis.
Thanks, Mix. I am great. You're great too.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
We're all great in our own way.
Just one guy that's not great enough to be on the desk.
Yeah. Poor Nathaniel. But anyway, look, let's talk about this. I thought it was really interesting, actually, because we've seen PartinG do a lot of interviews over the course of this tournament. As I said, 'cause he keeps on winning. But he's been very flippant about some of his opponents. He's been, putting them down. I'm better than you. I'm going to murder you. Just laughing, joking. Stefano even said he had a beer for one of his games and was, drinking and playing at the same time. completely different there. He still made a joke and said, when you lose, I'll make sure you get back to the hotel room okay, but was really respectful, or, you know, almost reverential of his opponent. Is that anything we should read too much into?
Well, they're close friends.
Go ahead.
I mean, they are close friends. They are part of like same kind of Skype cliques. They're in the same circle of friends. So obviously, like anything they say between them, is like friendly banter kind of stuff. But
yeah, but if anything, I thought that would mean you would push it a little bit further. But he seemed really, like you say, really respectful there.
I guess to an extent. I mean, HyuN seemed like very serious about it. He could have had some friendly like chat with his Tongsang, his little brother. But yeah, I gotta agree with PartinG's assessment here, though. This is gonna be a stomp.
Brutal.
Wow, that's definitely brutal there. And I think, as much as I agree that PartinG is the favorite, I don't think you can count out HyuN just like that. I mean, I think this guy has definitely got it within him and capable to beat PartinG on the stage. And I know this sounds like, oh, well, you're just trying to make this fun and interesting. I actually believe that HyuN, as he said, can be on the same level. PartinG disagrees, Wax Angel disagrees, but I think he has a shot.
I don't think so, Apollo. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I feel like even HyuN, if he plays like out of his mind, it's still going to be really hard to even compete with somebody like PartinG, who should be on another level.
Okay.
Well,
Fine, guys, fine. It's okay.
So, I mean, can we get some score predictions out of you? I mean, I tell you what, for me, HyuN is like, he just keeps going and going and going. We said at the start of the tournament, I mean, we were talking about Harston beating him not that long ago, earlier today. I mean, who knows what could happen, right?
Wax.
So basically what's going to happen is PartinG is going to do whatever he wants into kill HyuN with Blink Stalkers. And that's just going to happen every game.
I agree.
You think he's going to go to Blink?
I think if he's bored, he might kill him with like non-Blink Stalkers.
Remember the 8 gate that he did a lot in the Gfinity that he won? 8 gates and like pure gateway units with lots of sentries, just like go and kill the Zerg against Hydra.
I mean, if he's in a rush, he could do that, I guess.
So we got 3-1 to PartinG from you.
Oh, that was me.
Okay.
You can do this, Apollo.
Come on, Sean.
I mean, I picked PartinG for a long time to be. I mean, he is the tournament favorite. It's hard to go against him, and I have to continue with that. I do think that PartinG's going to win, but I really don't think it's going to be as one-sided as you guys make it out to be.
And I'm guessing 3-0 for you.
I don't know.
What's your score, Wax?
I respect HyuN enough that he can probably pull out some sort of one sort of unexpected build to steal a map. So 3-1.
I thought you were going to say 4-0 for a second.
the super score. Okay, right. Well, thanks a lot for all your thoughts. Now, without any further ado, we're going to get underway this semi-final of the DreamHack Open. And our casters are going to be Todd and Apollo. So take it away, guys.
And here we are ready to commentate the semi-finals from 96 players down to 4. Just like that, Todd, we've gone from people talking about the games to 2 commentators ready to do this. I'm excited for the semi-finals. There's only 3 series left of DreamHack Open here in Tours, live from France. We've had a lot of exciting games, especially the one we've just seen. And now it's time to elevate the play a little bit more as we get into the semifinals with the tournament favorite, the player who's making his debut at DreamHack, PartinG, who's been on a roll as of recently. He's ranked 4th in the world within the WCS ranking points. He's had a pretty good year. He was a GSL finalist, going up against a player that we've seen for a long time, just like PartinG. It's HyuN, the only DreamHack champion left in the tournament, the only potential 2-time DreamHack champion. But here we are, loaded into the semifinals. Down here to the south position on Vanny Research Station as the red Zerg player, it's HyuN. And up to the north, the tournament favorite, playing for Yowie Flash Wolves, it's PartinG. And let's see how dominant PartinG will be, as I know a lot of people are expecting this to look that way.
He's been adopted here. It almost feels, as one of the local favorites, as the own Frenchman, maybe in his own way. He expressed his love for women.
For the French women, more specifically.
Let's see how well he can do here against HyuN, who, you should never count out, even though we kind of did that here in the predictions. He can play really well. He did so against Harstem. And remember, PartinG's not invincible against Zerg. He lost a few matches here and there. Not too long ago, he lost to Hydras in the finals of an online tournament. It finally happened after beating Hydra quite a few times. He lost to him, so...
Well, HyuN here has a drone that's on the other side of the map, scouting what his opponent's up to, and does spot that this is going to be a Nexus first, and has a drone moving to take the gold base. So it's a scouting, what you'd imagine if we're just going to look back to what happened in Hearthstone's games, a scouting 3 hatch opener.
Oh, he's trying to plan down a hatchery here to buy himself a lot of time. We saw True actually pulling ahead nicely in the first game for his patience with one of those hatcheries. And I mean, if you look down this map, actually, like, where does PartinG expand? He can't take the other base.
All right, but it didn't work there. He threw down the gold base before this and just kind of accepted that he wasn't going to get the plant on that base. So the Nexus gets put down here. And HyuN knows his opponent has no way to be aggressive at this point. He has a quick look over here to this pylon, sees a gateway that's been thrown down, and I suppose he's just going to go 3 hatchery himself from this position, Todd?
Yeah, sometimes you even see a very greedy double gold, but I don't think he's going to be the case here. More often than not, it's going to be that one base over here that's taken, and HyuN's going to do just that. PartinG, you know, going into this series, he can play so many different sides. It's actually crazy, you know. Back, I think it was in Taipei, when he was playing against Hydra, he played so much to his image. 2 base aggression, big aggression, sees what was expected. And back then he played on 3 bases, he made Colossus, he got Blink, +2, +3. And Hydra was always preparing for aggression, but he never came. And the time it came, well, was the time he was completely out-teched, out-upgrades. And there was just way more for PartinG. The next times that they met PartinG this time, though, played a lot more aggressively. So it almost feels like PartinG's going to make a choice on how he wants to play this. And HyuN's going to have to react properly here from the start, because if he falls behind here from the first game, it's going to be so difficult to recover against somebody like PartinG, who manages the momentum so well.
Well, he does have an Overlord inside this main base, and he's going to have another one that's coming around this left-hand side on the map, so he's going to use these to get the vision on what PartinG is going to attempt to do in this game. But looking at PartinG's run so far in this tournament, he's undefeated, obviously. He's only dropped a single map versus uThermal in the very early group stages, but since that point, it's just been domination. 2-0 Zanster, 2-0 Mana, and then we saw that 3-0 versus Rain. He's put down the Stargate, which has been spotted here by HyuN.
That's a pretty fast Stargate, though. He made that before Warp Gate or any kind of units. You're not even a Stalker or a Mothership Core. He's finally going to start that Mothership Core. And so far, it's 29 probes against 25 drones, which I don't think HyuN minds too much, because he saturated his gold base quite nicely here already. That's going to force Spores, and I mean, we've seen some of what those top Korean players can make happen with one Oracle. I assume it's going to be Oracle here. You know, guys like Trap, guys like PartinG, they fly in there, they keep the Oracle alive, and even when it doesn't do any damage, it's still out there as a threat, forces Spores. Double assimilator here going down, by the way, pretty quickly at the natural. Oh, it's Phoenix! Oh my god, he's actually going to play it old school here, possibly.
Phoenix going to clear out this Overlord. He's going to look to get the second one as well. Going to really deny any future scouting from HyuN from this point. He's not going to be able to get inside the main base with any units. The follow-up from PartinG could be anything from here.
I really wonder what transition he's going to do behind this. You know, the fact that he's going Phoenix here, he knows that he's going to be able to get some very easy snipe on the first 2 Overlords from HyuN that are near to his base, and then behind this, it's going to be impossible for HyuN to scout for a very long time what PartinG's going for. So there is a possibility he might go for like a big gateway aggression with the way the 3 bases are spread out. You look at this. He supply blocks here HyuN for a little bit. It's going to be hard to drone up, and then if he attacks the right position between those bases, you know, it's going to be very hard for HyuN to defend well against this. He could also go for Robo in 3rd base and Colossus.
Well, Forge has just been put down here inside the base of PartinG.
No gateways just yet. There's still time for him to plan them down, for them to, I guess, line up very well with when Warp Gate finishes. I mean, even if he wants to go for an attack later on, he doesn't have to, you know, go for a lot of gateways now. He can build 2 now, build up his sentry count, and then add a few more, and then go for the attack later on. So it's going to be very interesting to see which one of these options he goes for.
Well, at the moment, I think he's posturing on the 3rd base to put down the Nexus. 16 Zerglings are already on the way here, as we can look at the production tab. 24. Phoenixes are looking around. What are they going to see? They find a queen, they pick up this queen, they're going to kill this queen. It's going to require a second lift unless another Phoenix comes in. And there is the other Phoenix who's going to be able to say, well, no, not quite enough. He's going to pick it up and then kill it. But most importantly, sees the Zerglings running across to the other side of the map. And what really does he have to stop and defend this?
Not much. No cannon being walled off behind pylons. This is going to be a cancel. Zergs have been doing this so much, and now PartinG opening with a Stargate, there was no way he was going to be able to hold this comfortably. So he has to cancel the Nexus, goes for a Twilight behind this. This feels forced. We've seen this before. And already PartinG, you know, Not doing nearly as much.
He has managed to pick off 6 drones.
Yeah.
They have been replenished those. There's a lot of drones in the production tab and have been for a while.
Same worker counts, actually. But 9, 10 more here.
A lot of Zerglings here. They're going to have +1 melee attack very soon, and with this late upgrade from the Forge, a Templar Archives has been dropped here by PartinG.
Wow, he might go up to something like 7 to 8 gates and go for an attack regardless of if he goes for a third Nexus or not. And I think a lot of the time here, he's still going to have to make that third Nexus, because otherwise it's way too obvious. If you see that third Nexus as a Zerg, then sometimes you're going to feel like you need to drone up and then you get attacked by this and you die. Roaches going to be the potential very good counter that you can get against this, but does HyuN actually want to get them now, or does he want to go into something else?
Right, well, the Phoenixes continue to do damage. Another 4 drones have gone down, and Lings are going to attack in. They have that +1 melee attack upgrade completed, and they get a good wraparound on these Zealots there. There's no cannon. It is just a bunch of force fields. There are more force fields available, but PartinG cannot really afford to lose these sentries. He needs more Zealots to come.
He's going to get the
hold tight. He's trying to go for the Nexus now. The Nexus, is it going to go down? The force fields are pretty good here so far.
Yeah,
and there's only a couple of Zerglings left. PartinG holds on to that third base. Very well done.
Insane force fields here, as always, from PartinG. Behind this, he's researching Storm already. He wants to go for a very strong Storm timing with Zealots and High Templars. Resources lost.
Only 2 Zealots have been lost here by PartinG in a probe from the earlier stages. 40 Zerglings were lost in that, as well as 10 drones and a Queen from these Phoenixes. Interesting to see how this game's going to develop, because the Roaches have not been built. There is a Spire down.
He's rushing Storm against Zerg. We never really see that against Zerg. You see that sometimes, you know, against Terran, especially with that old Charge Lot Templar style.
And HyuN has no idea about that yet, but he's going to lose another 4 drones to these Phoenixes, consistently doing damage over time.
HyuN is going for a Spire, and look at how much gas he has. I think in this game, he might want to try and surprise with a bunch of Corruptors, or maybe even Mutas, to try and, you know, chase down the Phoenixes, kill them, or go for some harassment in the natural domain while he attacks at the third base. Look at how many cannons are going down.
Don't you think that HyuN is questioning where the Stalkers are by now? He keeps poking back and forth on that Nexus, not seeing any.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what's going through his mind at this point, but...
What I'm really wondering is whether he's going to go for Mutas or Corruptors, and how well they're going to do against, you know, a Charge Lot, Templar, Storm combo with Phoenixes already being out on the map.
Well, the Spy is about to complete, and HyuN has just not built any aggressive units for a while. He's got room for a lot of units. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Corruptors get built, then Roaches on top as well.
Oh my god, if PartinG goes full Charge Lot and High Templar here and does the timing, these Corruptors in the air are not going to do a single thing. I think HyuN is counting on PartinG to go for Colossus, which is the logical transition behind this, and it almost feels as if PartinG kind of knew that. He knew that HyuN maybe was going to go for Corruptors, so instead of doing a Colossus, he went for Zealots and High Templars with Storm.
Storm is complete. High Templar banked up a lot of energy over the last couple of minutes here, and HyuN is still without the information that High Templar are in the game. There are 6, 7 of them up here, 8 of them. That is a lot of guys with a lot of juice already to land these Storms. Cannon's been added on, and a lot of them too.
Yeah, he was really afraid of an attack with maybe like Roaches. I think if he knew how many Roaches there was, he wouldn't even have made those cannons here.
Well, here the High Templar are going to get revealed for the first time, and HyuN has a lot of these units up here, Zerglings and Roaches. Got to be very careful. There's so many cannons here.
9 Mutas are going to start here, but I mean, as I said, there's already Phoenixes out on the map. PartinG, he can get a bunch of Stalkers if he wants to very easily. Charge is going to start very, very late in this game, by the way.
Well, Corruptors are going to take down almost the second Phoenix.
PartinG must be confused. He sees Corruptors. He starts another Stargate. Does he want to go for Void Race?
Or just continued Phoenix production in anticipation for, you know, the follow-up Mutalisk here.
Well, the thing is, with the army that he has, all he has to do is bank a bunch of Stalkers, go for an attack, and pretty much win, I think.
Well, the Warp Prism goes down, and the Mothership Core as well here for HyuN as he flies inside the main base. Not a lot of anti-air yet. There are Mutalisks on this right-hand side. He's going to come towards this Nexus. Cannons have been added on, but there are no Stalkers. There are 3, 4 cannons, and HyuN is just going to attack into them for now.
No Stalkers being warped in here just yet, and I guess the cannons are going to be enough or not. The Muta count still very low. More links being made. If PartinG can max out with this many High Templars, like I said before, you never lose against a Zerg. That's on lair tech.
Oh, PartinG is pushing through the middle of the map now. 2 Archons, a bunch of Storms available.
Some Stalkers would be nice in that army, because the Mutas are coming back right now.
Oh, here we go. HyuN's going to have a good
The High Templars!
The High Templar left alone, the Mules to go for them individually, and a lot of Storms go down, but this is a huge amount of army from HyuN just wrapping around absolutely everything. PartinG moves out into the middle and gets absolutely crushed. Oh boy, a favorite here that everyone thought was going to smash this. HyuN says no way. Absolutely no way.
And I think there might not be any recovery possible here from there. Like, if you look at the supply, there is already a fourth base going up for HyuN. Blink is not being researched, but he threw away all of his Templars, all his Zealot sentries. 2 Archons died in here.
He just moved out into the darkness and he just got annihilated. That wasn't close. PartinG had no idea what was going on. Units surrounded from every single angle, and the Zerg swarm took full control in the center of Vani Research Station. And now PartinG has a game on his hands. He somehow has to make magic happen here at DreamHack to turn this one around, as this is a very, very dominating position for HyuN.
Yeah, the thing is, he's still very low on upgrades. You see, he started +2 missile and melee as well. He's going to keep on harassing there, but I mean, with Blink about to finish, this can backfire very quickly. And PartinG, with the amount of cannons that he had, especially in his natural, he's not really attackable there. So he's still in this game by all means. He can still max out, and like I said, you can be as ahead as you want. As a Zerg, if a Protoss maxes out and you're still on lair tech, a lot of the time you're not going to be able to win the fight. The reason HyuN was able to win the fight in the middle of the map is because PartinG's positioning with his army, especially High Templar, was really bad, and also PartinG was very far from being maxed out. So he's moving out again. I think this is too early. I don't know why he's doing that.
Well, he's chasing down. He takes down the Overseer at the back. Mutalisk as well. There's a lot of Stalkers here. Mulus and Corruptors going to the main base. Roaches and Lings on the right-hand side. They do have some upgrades about to complete. +2 melee are going to complete, but the Zerglings are having a rough time here. PartinG's going to engage this.
Yeah, it's naked Stalkers. No sentries for Guardian Shield, no High Templars for Storm. Even though he's blinking back, he's trading against very cheap units, which HyuN can replace very easily. Look at the bank of HyuN.
Yeah, a lot of money in the bank here, but PartinG continues to chase Stalkers. Very valuable at this point, very efficient, and he is going to destroy the majority of those Roaches. Now, what is next from HyuN? He builds 8 Mutalists. He had a lot of Zerglings just popping as well.
He needs more Zerglings than Roaches.
And here they are, and PartinG blinked, and now he cannot blink for a couple of seconds as he's on cooldown, and the Zerglings get a lot of damage done, and he's waiting for the next blink. He evades a couple of the Storms that are randomly kind of anywhere. I don't even know where that came from, but the Zerglings doing a lot of damage here. Mutalist coming in to assist, and PartinG has to be chased back again.
Yeah, he's going to use corruption on a lot of those units. The Mothership Core came to suicide itself here in this fight. For PartinG, who's falling apart, he moved out once again rather than max out against the lair tech of HyuN, probably thinking he was too far behind economically. And I mean, how wrong was he?
Yeah, how wrong was he? There's a lot of Mutalists, there's a lot of Zerglings, and PartinG gets chased back to where he came from, and he's got very, very few Stalkers left. Sub 100 supply. HyuN goes right back up to 180 with additional Mutalisks and additional Zerglings, and this is becoming an army that PartinG just cannot compete with anymore. Yeah. He had one move in the middle, he had a second one, and this third attempt of building an army to take a 4th base as resources are running dry is nothing here. This is a minimal army.
Yeah, close to double the army supply here for HyuN. And I mean, at this point, PartinG is going to go into full desperation modes, try and take a 4th base, maybe camp. I think it's finally time to camp. I'm actually surprised he's suiciding a few Zealots. This is very risky. Oh my god, don't go further, man. If you get surrounded, there's no escaping.
Well, HyuN is going to take a fight in a minute. He's at 200 supply. He knows PartinG's looking to take a 4th, and HyuN is having none of it. He wants to challenge for this. He's our reigning DreamHack champion, or a former DreamHack champion in this tournament. He's going to take this fight, and the Mutalists are just too high of a number. The Zerglings waiting for force fields to fall, and this is going to be the end of PartinG. He's trying his very best to hold on, but when the force fields go down, the Zerg swarm enters, and GG. HyuN takes map number 1 here against the favorite.
You were right, Apollo, I guess. We shouldn't overlook HyuN, and he really delivered that game, you know? Went for the gold base, a few very nice plays. I was very curious about how the Spire was going to go against somebody who already had, you know, a bunch of Phoenixes. But he handled that very well. Corruptors first, then Mutas, harassed a whole bunch, and really forced that move out of PartinG, which wasn't necessary. If he had been more patient, maxed out on 3 base, man, that's really the way.
PartinG suffers his only 2nd loss, map loss, in this tournament. One was against Uthermal in group stages, quite a way back yesterday, and this is his 2nd map loss. And HyuN comes out the gate firing, racing towards the finish line in an attempt to take another final of his own here. But that's got to rattle PartinG a little bit, because PartinG's full of confidence. He's told everybody he's going to win, and Rain was the difficult opponent that he beat 3-0 in the quarterfinals, and this has to fire PartinG up for this next map.
Yeah, I think so. You know, PartinG is the guy who sometimes, even though, you know, the expectations are very high from him and he plays well a lot of the time, sometimes he kind of, you know, maybe crumbles under pressure. I don't know what it is, but he does not deliver as you would expect him. I think back in Taipei already against Life, he had this one series where we thought he was going to be able to do very well, but in the end, got beat. And here against HyuN, he's going to need to refocus very quickly, come back to his best level, not do this kind of weird move out with those High Templars. Funka highlighted very well how far behind the army they were. They got caught, they got sniped, and I mean, it's just the beginning of the end. Imagine if you just waited and maxed out. How do you lose this? If you just made Blink Stalkers defending in each base against the Mutas, you max out, you attack. You have a Zerg that's on Zergling, Roach, Muta against Zealot, High Templar Stalkers with better upgrades. You just die as Zerg.
Let's talk a little bit about PartinG some more here, and especially what Wax Angel said on the desk is that PartinG's one of PartinG's weaknesses is sometimes he's overly aggressive. Too aggressive for his own good, wants to win the game, wants to move out just to take the victory. Is this his weakness then that's going to especially be a problem against HyuN?
Sometimes. The thing is, a lot of the time his aggression is so good that even though he attacks at the wrong time, he can still make it work. But in this game, it was clearly the wrong move, especially with the amount of cannons he was making. I wouldn't understand the move out if you had been only spamming units.
Yeah. All right, well, Expedition lost the second map here as HyuN takes the lead in this best of 5. Up here to the top right-hand side as the red Zerg player. Currently 1-0 up, it's HyuN. And his opponent now has to change this. He cannot afford to go down 0-2 as the blue Protoss player is PartinG. A lot of support here from the French audience in Tour. And let's find out how this map's going to shape up. How is this series going to go? And what are the strategies that both players are going to lean towards? We've seen a lot of aggressive Zerg play on this map over the last month or so. But so far, we don't see HyuN moving out with a drone for this aggressive hatchery, Todd.
Yeah, I guess he wants to play differently here in this game. I mean, the previous game, he didn't, particularly cheese or do something crazy. He did the standard that you see these days in ZVP with taking the gold base and, playing a solid game in terms of mixing in, roaches, then links, and then the Spire transition. And already having played with that Spire too, for the rest of the series, PartinG's going to have to be wondering whether or not there is a Spire being made. And if there is, if it's for Corruptors, for Mutas, he's going to have to keep that in the back of his mind the entire series. And that's already annoying.
HyuN playing very safe here. Drone Scout to his main base to check if there's any proxy gateways. A Drone Scout out into the middle of the map, as well as a spawn and pull first opening.
Yeah. It's good to play it safe like this against, a
but
PartinG that you're up 1-0 against and might cannon rush, get desperate.
But he's decided to take the gold base in the center of the map here, Todd.
I mean, it's done wonders for him in the previous game, and just in general for Zergs these days. CJ's hero, really the only one who's been able to do well, and by that I mean, getting some very, very close wins against some of the best Zergs out there. I mean, it fits HyuN's style too. HyuN is a guy, that has always had great injects, great production. The Roach is his units of choice a lot of the time. We call him the Roach King. And on this map, with the backdoor, near the Protoss base, if you go for a lot of Roaches and you get in there, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage. We saw, earlier with the proxy, when you open that path, how hard it can be for Protoss to be in 2 places at once. Taking a third base is going to be a pain. So I'm wondering if PartinG is going to go for something like the 8-gate Sentry heavy style that we saw him play against Hydra back in Gfinity, which did wonders for him.
The Overlord of HyuN having a look inside this main base. Zergling going to pop up that ramp and see what he can do as well as another Zergling's chasing down this probe in the middle of the map. No third hatchery down yet for HyuN. He's taken a gas back at home and has a Zergling inside, but that is pushed away by 2 probes of PartinG.
I like that on this map he's not rushing, another base. You don't have to, especially the gold base. I mean, it's in the middle of the map, literally. If you get attacked and you rush another base, you're going to be in trouble. The probe's going to fall.
One more hit. Chase it, little Zergling.
He's going to step on creep.
Headshot. Taken down. Zergling gets the last hit, the kill. And PartinG is now in the dark for the next part of this game. And this is a very dangerous and scary part for Protoss players, not knowing what exactly is happening. Am I going to be hit by a Zergling flood soon? Am I going to see Roaches attacking me very shortly? As of yet, no aggressive plan has been set and motion by HyuN. Only Zergling speed on the way. 3 Queens, 1 aggressively planted in the center to be able to push Creep spread forward. Sentry being added on after a Stalker for PartinG.
Yeah, I wonder, like, what is he planning here? Surely he's going to drop down some gateways very, very shortly. And
Robotics
Robo,
facility.
oh my, is it time for the Soul Train, Apollo?
Looks like it. Looks like it. We'll see where he goes with that, though.
Pretty weird positioning, by the way. In the main, like in the very corner of his base. There is no Overlord around. If you don't see this coming, it's going to be harder to hold, but I mean, HyuN's going to be expecting some aggression here on this map from PartinG, let's be honest.
Overlord trying to get away. He's got a couple of hits left.
He's going to be able to do just that.
Yeah, he's going to get away. Oh, it's so very close.
If only Stalkers
had an extra range.
I wonder if Stalkers, like if you could blink into the void and get the Overlord and then die.
As you die.
Would they do it? One last shot.
5 Zerglings here, just outside the main base. PartinG have a look towards his ice. Remember, he hasn't seen anything since he lost that probe in the center. We have a layer started in the middle of the map. Third hatchery has been taken, but only drones really been seen out from HyuN. And
it's a War Prism being made first. Like, is it going to be some kind of sentry drop into an Immortal all-in? On this map, I mean, it's one of the best choices that you can go for, to go for the Immortal, but why not make the Immortals first?
Creep spread very aggressive in the middle, pushing towards Protoss and also connecting back to the original 2 bases that we have over the other side for HyuN.
The vision of HyuN on the map is ridiculous. Can we take a look at his vision? Look at this. He has units everywhere almost, and creep spread, Overlords, sneaking in a War Prism across the map is going to be close to impossible here for PartinG. He would have to go, you know, through the bottom side, and here comes the gateway explosion. I think his plan is to maybe drop down.
Oh, he's got a probe in here too with this War Prism, so if he's going to evade everything that HyuN has
so
out in the
far he
middle
might
of the
have.
map.
I think this was missed.
Yeah, I think it was missed as well, and it's going to continue to go down this direction. This could be pretty awesome from PartinG, but there is a Hydralisk Den on the way. It's been briefly spotted. Did he? No, his units are not coming back right now. They're blind spot.
No, he is coming back.
Oh, he's seen the probe, he's seen the pylon.
Is there enough? Is there enough? Apollo is going to drop the sentry, start on warping in Zealots and PartinG already. This is looking very, very scary. But look at the production tab. The gateways are not finished yet, so he can only warp in units 3 by 3. Drones are going to be pulled. The Queen is there as well. HyuN might have enough.
He might have had enough. He drops the sentries to actually land another force. He's got to pick him up again, but also Hydralisks are going to pop from the main base and from the second as well. And HyuN is going to be able to push this back. He lands another force, but here come the Hydralisks. The War Prism's got to get out, and HyuN stops this from happening. Great defense there from our Zerg player, who also cleaned up the pylon in the middle of the map. And now PartinG is left with just a bunch of simple gateways and simple gateway units. He's chronoboosting, trying to build up an army. There's no Immortals, there's no high-tech units. And there are Hydralisks with a fantastic creep spread from one side of the map, basically outside PartinG's base. Wonderful creep spread, wonderful strategy here from HyuN. But will he have enough Hydralisks? He's supplied what currently, having to build a few Overlords. He has 11 out yet.
Killing 9 drones is nice, but it's still 46 walkers to 44, saturated across 3 bases here for HyuN, and that includes a gold base. So he's going to be able to start on squeezing out only units, but look at this, a bit of a supply block here. He's going to start 22 more Zerglings. I don't know if he has enough. PartinG's looking to use the map overlay here to force field those units away and go for the gold base.
Well, he force fields very well here, trapping a lot of these Hydralisks, cutting the numbers up. There's about 6 or 7 Hydralisks stuck with Queens on the other side of the force field wall, and PartinG needs to take this fight well. If he loses this map, he goes down 0-2. Force fields are running very dry, but is PartinG going to be able to control his army well enough to combat the Hydralisks? They're still stuck, and there are more and more Stalkers being whooped in here for PartinG, who's done very well with his force fields, engaging on creep.
He's doing it.
And he's making this work. More force fields are being put down, and there's just not enough for HyuN, and that supply bot right before he could build that army, who's crucial. He's even going to bring these rocks down.
Yeah, 61 army supply against 38. At this point, the gold base is going to fall. 2 base Zerg against 2 base Protoss. We all know who that is good for. And that's the Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, HyuN had all the tools necessary, but unfortunately he wasn't there in time. He didn't have enough units there to be able to combat this. And PartinG breaks the gold in the middle of the map, and he's going to continue his search to tie this series up. This is not going to end. PartinG's not going to slow down. He's going to continue forward to map victory in number 2. He's going to break these rocks. He's going to slowly push down. There's quite a few force fields now been regenerated over time from these sentries. And this is just a slam dunk here for PartinG to finish this one off.
If the supplies were even, this might be a favorable fight for HyuN in terms of army, but he only has 44 against 71. PartinG still going for it. More force fields being thrown
PartinG
down.
doesn't care. He's just walking up this map and walking up this ramp. He's got a lot of Stalkers not fighting at the back, but he just wants to take this win, this fight right here. It's the best position HyuN could possibly hope for, but he just simply doesn't have enough units. Drones are coming off the line, but this doesn't matter either. PartinG is going to take map number 2. We are going to game number 3 with these players tied up, and it is just a few drones coming to defend. More Lings are coming out, but unfortunately for HyuN, that's not going to be enough. GG. PartinG ties the series up.
On a map that's not always favorable for Protoss, Apollo, PartinG makes the sentries, transforms himself into an architect, and redesigns the map.
He
with
does
his own
redesign the
edges.
map. Dustin Browder, this is how I want the maps to look in the future. A couple more rocks, a couple more force fields over here. And PartinG makes it work, but you can't help but feel for HyuN. That supply block where he's building overlords, probably due to the pressure and the harassment of the Warp Prism and Sentries, if only he had those extra units being built at that time, maybe he could have given PartinG a run for his money, but he simply couldn't, and PartinG was able to walk that one away.
And that Warp Prism, I mean, he got 9 drones. If he had seen the Warp Prism immediately and stood up the ramp, this gets 0 kills on the drones, and it's even better for him. But you know, when you're missing a few overlords like this and you have to start 3 at the same time, it's never good. When you're getting all in, if you get supply block at this level, you're always going to lose. And it's happened to me many times, Apollo, so I know all about it.
HyuN must be definitely sad that the Warp Prism wasn't spotted after that great map awareness and presence that he had with units everywhere. The one position, the one little channel where there wasn't any vision or weren't any units.
And it wasn't lucky, by the way, by PartinG. Like, he knew where the creep thread was, he knew where the units were, because of his mothership core that was at a forward position. It was just brilliant play here by him. Well, series tied up. Now it's anybody's game as we go into map number 3 very shortly, as we get closer and closer to the grand finals, which again, we'll repeat, will be starting at 10:30 local time in a couple of hours from now. Who will be there? One of these players going to play in the grand finals for their chance to be a DreamHack champion of 2015 with thousands and thousands of dollars on the line, with valuable WCS points that are so crucial on the road to the global finals at the end of the year. Which player is going to the finals? Which player is going to take the advantage to go to the 4th map where it's just a single game away from being that player? I mean, this was more, you know, like the PartinG we know and love, so I expect something similar. Then again, it's Cactus Valley, Apollo. Game number 3, up here to the top right-hand side. It's currently tied 1 apiece as the Red Zerg, it's HyuN! And down here, looking to make some noise in and out of game as the blue Protoss player, it's PartinG! Won over a lot of fans, obviously, over the last couple of months and years, Todd. Yeah, definitely. He's definitely earned over the, I guess, the crowd here. They love him, man. He's a very entertaining guy. Look at that centipede, man. Funka is having some fun. He is. Funka's having a great time back there observing these games for us. Thank you very much, my friend. Doing a fantastic job, as always. PartinG, you know, in the previous game, he did something that I talked about a little bit, the 8 gates, but I didn't think he was going to do that with a robo. That was very interesting. He actually kind of stole the story. You know, because when you see a Warp Prism and Sentries, you might be thinking Immortals, but nope. In this case, it was the 8 gates. Oh, hello, Todd. And Cactus Valley, apparently, is a fantastic map for PartinG because he wants to redesign the map a little bit more. Yeah, he's going to redesign the map. I actually want this to have a few cannons on it, a couple of sprinkle of pylons around this location, and PartinG's going to move up to this location and find out that this is where HyuN is spawned. This is where the hatchery first is, and the other probe are going to come down. 3 drones have been pulled off here. HyuN having a bit of an inkling to what's going on. Yeah. Sure, he's not having a giggle here right now. He's not having a giggle, mate. He's definitely not having a giggle with this one, Todd. Probe has been pushed back. Here comes the probe to build the 3 pylon wall. Oh my God, PartinG. You're sneaky. I assume it's going to be 1 cannon behind this. HyuN is actually pulling all of the drones. He's going to go straight for the wall. He's committing a lot to this. Can he break this? I mean, he might be able to at some point, but are the cannons going to be up on time to help and defend against this? The shields already down on the pylons here. The cannons are going to take quite
he's
some time to
given
go
up, he's given up, he's going to go back. That was a lot of
Wow.
loss of mining time there. And now PartinG looking to squeeze through.
And he's going to
And
get
now he
cannons on the other
has
side.
a cannon supporting further forward cannons. And HyuN realizes the danger that he's in, pulls drones down to try to deal with this.
He needs to cancel the hatchery. Like, this is never going to survive here. And he's going to let it finish,
He's going to try. He's going to try to keep this alive. He's trying to get rid of that probe. It's going to take a couple of hits, and there it is. Probe is down. But can he keep this hatchery alive? What is he going to do?
I think the best thing he can do is squeeze out some drones out of this hatchery, maybe a queen here as well, and take gases in his main. Maybe go for something like a Nidus or Roaches to clean up these cannons. Maybe an all-in, you know. Zergling Baneling, I don't think Zergling Baneling actually is good against this many cannons, but maybe a Nidus.
A successful cannon rush here from PartinG in game number 3 against HyuN, who is challenging PartinG's position and PartinG's role in this tournament, which is be the champion. And another probe squeezes through here. PartinG builds a 4th cannon.
What do you think about PartinG's job here as an interior designer? Has he made the map look better?
He's having a fantastic time, and I would allow him to do anything to my apartment.
He's cleansing the crypt of that second base, Apollo. He's going to make it all gone. Oh, actually, no.
Well, there is a creep tumor, but at this point, what do you do as HyuN? He has gas being built, but there's 4 cannons with the one behind the wall.
I think, you just expand, you make sure you don't get Nidus, you go into Mothership Core very quickly for photon overcharge for the all-in that's going to come for you, because
I mean, it has to
surely
be,
you have to go for an all-in here if you're HyuN.
Double gas income.
Nidus, man.
I mean, yeah, there's the layer. It's kind of the only way that he can play this. I mean, I guess there's different variations of Nidus won't play, because he's not going to get past this wall.
I think Nidus mass links is about the best thing you can do in this situation, but like we've seen guys like, in particular Cats, handle these situations very well. Almost literally, like hoping he's going to get cannons. So
I mean, he's going to try with Roaches, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose he can build Queens as well as soon as the layer's done. Can add on Queens and bring them through.
But remember, this is not the Legacy of the Void Nidus here.
No,
if you plant it down, it can get killed, and PartinG already knows. Like, I mean, he already knows.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to not allow the Nidus Swarm to be planted inside the main base and make sure you have enough defense and coverage on the natural, and that's it. I mean, depending on how PartinG wants to play this, does he want to get a lot of gateway units? Is it going to be towards a Stargate, mass cannons?
I don't think Stargate's good, but I mean, you can go for it and still hold. That's how good of a position he's in right now. I think getting a Zealot, then Stalker, then Mothership Core is better, but I mean, even with the Sentry, again, the probes are going to be enough. As soon as he spots that Nidus, if he sends probes there, he's going to be able to cancel that. And once the first Nidus is down, you know what your opponent has gone for, you know that all you need to do is defend, and you're going to win every single time.
6 Roaches on the way. There's an Overlord just outside the natural. There's another Overlord coming towards the main base, looking to find the correct position to use this Nidus Worm, which is close to finishing. More Queens have been added on, and this is a complete all-in from HyuN. This is do or die.
If the Nidus finishes with very little hit points, by the way, he can still lose, because the Queens are going to come out and transfuse it at ASAP.
Is this it? Is he going to try and do it inside the main base? No, it's going to be outside.
Wow.
And we have a single cannon, a second one being built.
I mean, there is...
Mothership found it, but he's not going to be able to destroy it.
Yeah, I don't think he can move out to kill that. So just mass cannons around the natural. HyuN is probably going to try for another Nidus in the main here right now, by the way, while he attacks the wall.
All right, this is going to be interesting to see how this is going to work. 3 additional cannons are being added on. Sentries have to force field. The photon overcharge not too far away. The probe's still watching to the top right-hand side.
Funka is here, man.
We're
not going to miss it.
Eagle eyes Funka, watching everything. Another Chrono Boost going into that gateway to get another Sentry out. First pylon's going to fall. Forge deactivated for now. A couple of Roaches do break through, but there is another force field.
Yeah,
another cannon's going to complete. Mothership Core still dealing damage.
PartinG is not about to miss any of those force fields, and by the look of things, he's going to have enough cannons. He has a photon overcharge to work with here as well. No Nidus went down in the main.
Yeah, and now Immortals on the way. PartinG making this look like a walk in the park. What do you do now as HyuN? He's gone back home. He's going to send his Roaches to try to break down this wall, but PartinG's already got the Choo-Choo Immortal train in production.
Maybe he gets a Nidus between that gate and pylon, and then somehow he can't get around it, because PartinG forgets to cancel the gateway, and then he goes up and he loses.
And he goes up and he loses.
Nah, actually, this is... I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I don't know what HyuN's hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to break down the cannons eventually here, and then re-expand, but we know that PartinG is planning what PartinG was famous for a long time ago, and still is today. With Immortals on the way, Sentry's been added on. He is going to move over very, very shortly, HyuN. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to, but this is a one clear way to end this.
I mean, PartinG was a train operator in one of his previous lives, that's for damn sure, because he's pretty good with that soul train here. But in this game, he's just so far ahead that I don't even think it matters. He's dropping down some gateways, and
mistakes can still happen, though. I mean, PartinG can just walk his units, and then the roaches just pick off this Immortal, for example, if he's not paying attention, which he is going to be able to force field well enough here. And he is going to pay attention, picks off one of those roaches. And unfortunately, that attempt from HyuN unsuccessful. Another Immortal on the way.
I think the first game was enough for him to learn, to pay respect to those units here of HyuN that can engage very, very quickly into him. Walker count 30 for HyuN, 44 for PartinG. He's about to march across the map here in a second. And punch your hole
and
right through his face.
Right through his face. Right through that hatchery, Todd.
Shout out to Maynard.
Another Immortal, more gateways, more units as PartinG is just building up an army to go to the next map where he'd be playing for match point. Somehow, some way, HyuN needs to find a way to get economy, to have a decent amount of production to be able to add on enough roaches and Hydralisks. He's looking to potentially plan a counter, but that's not going to work out too well if PartinG just pushes through the center. That's where the roaches are.
Yeah, PartinG staying on
45 cannons as well.
45 probes. He's going to be making only units from there. Usually when you do this, you make 10 sentries, and then from there you go into stalker mode.
Got the shields of that Immortal, but there's enough cannons here to stop any amount of roaches to break through. Maybe he gets the Forge, maybe he stops that +1 attack, but he would run the risk of losing those roaches if these Immortals turn around.
He's doing a good job of buying time here, but I mean, Stalker swapping are going to begin here soon, and even one of those roaches here dies.
Yeah, these roaches looking for some way. Hydralisk and Spinecrawlers being added on. Force fields from PartinG, traps 3 roaches. He's going to bring down those very easily. Nice grab there from PartinG. And he warps Stalkers right in the face of these roaches. He really doesn't care. And he's going to be able to destroy these. Saves the Stalkers by lifting them into the Warp Prism.
Yeah.
And continues on the Soul Train path to victory.
Johnny's setting up for some defense.
He's got Spinecrawlers. He's going to try and go for a Nidus. There's a Stalker here, which is very smart from PartinG.
Where are the Spines? Are they up the ramp of his main? Because if they're the natural, they're going to be irrelevant. Yeah, he's literally going to get in there. And,
He's only got 2. This is almost impossible at this point here for HyuN to hold. The Immortals and the amount of force is going to do so much damage, and PartinG sees this. And how is he going to deal with it? Taking out 3 Hydralisks instantly. Insta-gib, shot to the face. Those Hydralisks are not doing anything in this game, and he's going to continue to push forward. Another couple of force fields, and another Hydralisk taken down. And this is the way. This is trademark PartinG coming for the victory. He's waited, he's built this army, and he is not going to be stopped here, HyuN. Unfortunately, you are out for the count. PartinG's going to go up 2-1. GG! Nice and easy finish there for PartinG. It wasn't too complicated. All he had to do was not die to an all-in attack, and it really was an all-in attack. There was really no way back in that game for HyuN. And PartinG, patient, cautious, and just very clinical with the finishing move there in a trademark way with the Immortals across the other side of the map there, Todd.
That pylon block, man, it almost felt as if it was the first time that HyuN had played against it. You have to wonder, maybe he just didn't expect it out of PartinG, which is a bit crazy because he's done some cannon rushes in the past, but I don't know, in this game he just wasn't ready at all for this. It seemed like he pulled the drones first, then changed his mind. You can really change your mind too, like once you've committed that many drones to the wall, unless you realize that it's like the worst choice ever by far that you can go for. I mean, he took down all of the shields on the Spinons too, and he was like, well, I'm just going to go back, actually, this is not working. I think he had to stay and maybe try and hold there. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But in this case, he went back home, found himself so far behind, didn't cancel the hatchery, went too late for the double gas, didn't even prevent very well the probe from getting into the main.
Right.
Just fell apart from the start.
And now the only former DreamHack champion in the tournament left remaining is on the ropes, which means if he loses this next map, we will have a fresh, new StarCraft 2 DreamHack champion out of the players remaining as PartinG continues his pathway to the finals, which seems to have been a road that was mapped out with lights along the way for PartinG to follow all the way to the finals and all the way to that star. He's been wanting it. He knows he's good enough to take it. And now HyuN has to buckle down. He is a champion of 2013 in Valencia here against PartinG. 1 map away from going to the finals. And which way is this really going to go now, Todd? Nail-biting moments for HyuN and Zerg fans, as we'll see in moments as we are loading into this next map. Looking forward to see what we're going to see from these players.
And we're going to see some craziness here maybe again, like we saw from True versus Patient. I mean, so far in this series, like both players, it felt like, you know, they really want to play to, I guess, the best of their capability in regards to their own unusual style. And that previous game, it was, I feel, a one-time cannon rush here from PartinG. Unless he gets to play on some very specific maps, I don't think he's going to cannon rush like this all that often, and probably not on this map.
All right, loaded in to map number 4. Iron Fortress is the destination. Down here to the bottom left-hand side, needs to win these next 2 maps in a row. And the only former DreamHack champion left in the tournament is HyuN! And up here to the top right, 1 game away from going to his first DreamHack finals. At his first DreamHack tournament, it's PartinG!
How will PartinG choose to close out this series, Apollo? That's pretty much what he's thinking right now. He has to pick one build, and I think he might just go, you know, for like maybe a standard Nexus, Gateway, maybe a bit of an 8 gate or 7 gate, you know, with lots of sentries. He's just so good with the force field micro. On this map, taking a third base can be difficult. It's cross map though, you know, on close position, vertical or horizontal. It's going to be much harder, I feel, for both players, you know, to take that and defend it. So we'll see if it affects PartinG's decision. We don't see PartinG, you know, rush third bases all often. You know, it's really map dependent here as well. But those positions here definitely would encourage that, I think, more often than not.
Hatchery first from HyuN, and this probe having a look for an overload that would tell if, well, to tell PartinG if HyuN had spawned to the top left-hand side here. Just a little cute trick from PartinG. So he knows his opponent spawned down to the south somewhere.
Well, or at least, you know, you can spawn on the top left, but then scout bottom first, in which case you don't see an overload. But I think a lot of the time, maybe he studied the scouting pattern of the overloads of his opponents. And he's going to be gate into Nexus, a build that we've seen
many a time before.
Yeah, Showtime uses that a lot and did pretty well against Zergs for some time as well.
But against HyuN, who's going 3 hatchery, he's got the second down, and now the third one has been placed. And a little bit brave off the back of a cannon rush, but as you've pointed, this isn't the map that, you know, PartinG could have easily cannon rushed on.
Well,
I mean, he could have. He could have, but
I didn't think he was going to do it twice in a series like this. And I mean, being up 2-1 is better than this. Come on. I give him some credit.
All right, Probe's going to move over, though, and he's going to see this 3 hatch and then the spawning pool after a good opening here from HyuN to open up his production very early on to have a good economy. And intriguing to know what PartinG will think when seeing this and what his reaction and how he's going to deal with what's been presented and what problem he has to resolve.
Yeah, he's going to see no gas, so he's going to feel very safe, you know, to just chrono boost out some probes and maybe put on some pressure, you know. The thing is, he hasn't started a Zealot, but maybe, okay, here we go. He starts that. Usually you don't start a Zealot here to cancel it. So I think this might be a Zealot, maybe Stalker and Mothership Core to try and force some links, not let the Zerg, you know, get as many drones as he wants. And it's been the trend lately. He starts a very quick Stargate, though, behind this. No Stalker or Mothership Core. It's in the back of his base. It's going to be very hard to scout because the links are going to have to be back at home to defend. And if you look at the Overlord placement, too, like, there is one at the very bottom right-hand side of the map. It's the one that's likely to scout the main. So if HyuN does not see this coming, and an Oracle flies into his middle line, because this time, as much as it was, you know, Phoenixes on Vani, I'm pretty sure that this time this is going to be an Oracle. This could be dangerous here, Apollo.
Is HyuN going to blindly prepare for something he doesn't know that's on its way? The Overlord's getting closer to the natural, but it's still a very long way. Will he spot it in the middle of the map, though? Zerglings are out. He may have control of the Xel'Naga Tower if PartinG does fly past this.
Feels like PartinG really wants to hide this, by the way. He stayed home with the Zealot rather than pressuring to force more Zerglings.
Gateway going to complete this wall with the Zealot in the blocker Zealot.
Do you think that HyuN, just from scouting this wall here, he can realize what's happening or what can be happening? It gets at least one spore. If you get one spore in one of the bases and you roll the dice and the Protoss flies in there, you'll buy yourself some time to get spores on the other bases.
Well, 10 additional drones from HyuN. Zergling speed is now started as this wall is completely tight. And HyuN, no anti-air yet. The Oracle's out. It's going to fly
between the Overlord and Lynx. not been revealed yet. He's going to fly right into the third base. There is no Spore there, and even the queen is pretty far away from the middle line. He's going to start shooting very late. I can already see 7 to 8 drones die pretty much instantly here, Apollo. This is very worrying.
HyuN has got no idea until this next second as PartinG arrives with the Oracle. 1, 2, 3, and there's going to be more than just a couple here, Todd. He's going to target down the fourth one, and this is pretty bad news for HyuN, losing 6 drones, 7 drones, and as you smartly said, this is not going to be just a little amount of economy team taken out. 10 drones, a very and highly successful Oracle.
He already has a Forge. He's going to start +1, PartinG from there, already killing 10 drones. Does he say, I just planned down some gateways, I'm up 2-1, I go for an attack, I'm PartinG, I redesign the map with some force fields, and I finish you? I guess not, because he's going for a Twilight, so he's going to want to play a bit of a longer game. I mean, there is no bad choice here for PartinG. You know, going for an aggression is one way to play it, going for his own third base is okay as well. With 45 probes to 53 drones, it's going to be absolutely fine. Right now, HyuN cannot afford to make units. He has to be droning back up.
Yeah, which makes his third base much, much easier to be able to hold on for PartinG against any waves of aggression that could have came if he hadn't have destroyed 10 drones. But the Oracle's still alive. It's going to be floating around, having a look, scouting around. This probe stays alive. Very nice control there by PartinG, just adding on the structures in the right locations to make sure that stays alive. The cannon's going to complete to allow that not to be harassed anymore by these Zerglings.
And Blink's already starting, you know, as much as I would have liked PartinG to go for a big gateway aggression. This might still be the case here with Blink. Look at it. 2 more. I think it's at least 7 right now. He's going up to 8.
That's a lot of units that PartinG's going to want to move across the map with very, very shortly.
9.
HyuN is at 72 workers, Todd. 72 after losing 10 workers, and he's about to start his unit production.
Yeah. I mean, 8 gates here is going to be massive from PartinG.
But this is a great economy for HyuN. Can he have enough units out to stop this? The Hydralisk den's now done. He can build from this economy infinite amount of Hydralisk given the right time.
But is he going to be given that time? And I mean, even if he gets a good chunk of units out, we've seen how PartinG can maneuver, especially between the natural and third base of the Zerg. Like, there is this huge space that he could use to his advantage. Look at this. There isn't even that much tree spread. If he comes down there, locks the units of HyuN behind one of those ramps, you know, do a little bit of redesigning because, you know, the map doesn't look that beautiful to him right now in his eyes. This could go very well here for him. But as you said, if enough Hydra's army, actually, HyuN's droning up a bit more. He's already on 70. You need to be making units, man.
A lot of them, too. He's only been building Hydralisk. He has no support with him, no Zerglings or anything at this moment.
Oh, this is so smart.
PartinG is coming down this right-hand side, which just hasn't been spotted. 18 Zerglings have been added on. HyuN does not know this army's here. Great evasion. He sees a Stalker. So PartinG has revealed his army positioning.
It's 72 army supply right now for HyuN, for 52 for PartinG, who's going to plan down the pylon there. The force fields.
These Hydralisks go forward, and force fields come down, 4 of them, and he traps 5, 6 Hydralisks. The Oracle flies, he deals some more damage as well. A couple of the sentries do go down, but that's a decent start here for PartinG.
Man, every time he's microing those sentries so well, pulling them back, making sure they don't die from the Hydras. He's going to force field again the ramp, blinking back some of the Stalkers. PartinG
his micro's not the best though. He's losing some Stalkers at 3. He's lost the majority of his sentries here. It was a decent start, but is he going to be able to continue through when these force fields go down?
Yeah, being able to reinforce on that pylon here, which cannot get sniped right now by HyuN, is going to be great for PartinG. HyuN's going to pull back, regroup a little bit. He might actually have to sack this base here.
Yeah, there's 3 probes been started at back here for PartinG. I think he's starting to doubt himself if he can continue forward with that. Stalkers.
He's just going to pull back.
It looks like it, but there's a lot of Hydralisks out now.
With no sentries here, you don't fight this. You need Guardian Shields. The Overseer was cancelled. I realized you didn't need that.
Oh, there's 1 Hydralisk there for free. That's a goner. Bling's going to charge in here. PartinG continues to fight on the high ground, doesn't lose anything.
You can't engage into that here as HyuN. PartinG's actually chasing a bit far here. I think HyuN's going to turn around, but PartinG pulls back.
He's going to blink back and forth. He's going to take this engagement. A couple of Zealots make their way to the front. PartinG blinks the majority of his Stalkers back and forth, and he keeps a lot of them alive, but HyuN has a lot of Hydralisks here, and PartinG started to lose numbers. He takes the fight really close here. He's content to continue to fight. HyuN is going to have a lot of reinforcements right around the corner, but PartinG is willing to fight on the high ground, and his willingness gives him the victory in that one. But can he keep going with this? Stalkers now have blink once again, and he's going to continue this fight. More Stalkers, a big blink there. More Zerglings coming through, a back and forth fight between the 2 of them.
HyuN's starting to run out of steam here at times, but in the end, he's able to get enough units out there. A lot of Queens were actually in that fight, but he still managed to leave most of them injecting on those hatcheries. So if you look at the production tab, you know, it's mostly the Zerg making stuff right now in PartinG. He's just going to harass and then head on home with those Stalkers.
Yeah, just a couple of Zergling kills here and blinking back. He has his gases being taken on his third base. He's got to think a plan.
He never started +2, by the way. The Zerg player started missile +2 before the Protoss player. If that can complete, I think HyuN's just going to win, or at least be in a great position.
PartinG now taking fights against Zerglings out in the open. He's at a very good economy, starts his +2. And HyuN successfully defends against this pressure from PartinG. And I don't think PartinG did that the best he could have done. The execution wasn't super clean.
Yeah, he overextended a little bit, you know, went too far into the creep. If he had just stayed next to his pylon, he can lose as little as 0 Stalkers if you blink back properly. And the Robo is now going to go down. There was never one made before. HyuN, though. I think on this map, though, if he can get a few Mutas, you know, to fly into the main and plays the same way as he played earlier on Vani, I mean, it's going to be a great way that he can play on this map, but the supply lead isn't that massive right now for HyuN.
No,
I don't think I would call it in his favor.
PartinG continues to use these Stalkers off creep. He loses 1 or 2 of them here, just because these Zerglings chasing them down. PartinG just overly harassing here. Going to lose maybe potentially even another one, but HyuN is chasing. HyuN has a lot of units on the way as well, and HyuN's going to take the fight of his own now. There is a Dark Shrine on the way. Here's the sentry build-up that we've been seeing in the background from PartinG.
There is enough here, I think, for PartinG. If he force fields well.
Yeah, 4 Hydralisks just go down very easily there. HyuN backs off.
Ooh, War Prism. Rather than trying to plant down a pylon across the map, which not only can be a big tail, but can be dangerous because it's not always going to work out, he gets a War Prism.
I mean, this is crazy because both players just posturing up so aggressively. HyuN is building a very powerful army. He's got 7 Mutalisks on the way too, but likewise, PartinG just so consistent in the middle of the map here, pushes right back out in the open again.
How many spores are there? I see one here on the third base, but I'm not sure if there is one in the natural. I think it's just 2.
Well, PartinG, I think...
3. Oh, no, 3. Okay, there's one in each base.
A big part of this game, too, with PartinG being able to snipe that 4th base, that must be pretty important, too, having his 3rd base fully saturated. But here comes HyuN, force fields in multiple different locations to keep the majority of this away. PartinG pulls back to reinforcements, and his force fields really cutting this army up nicely, but overall, with no force fields, this is a very, very powerful Zerg army.
Yeah, snipes the Overseer and then blinks back.
But Dark Templar already now. PartinG's going to run back to his defenses. And here comes the Dark Templar. The pylon allows warping access over the cliff area. And PartinG going to go back to his pylons and
the Mutas are going to fly in the main from the right-hand side, Apollo. And I don't think there is much in the main to defend.
Dark Templar going to try and work their way on that hatchery. Hydralisk on this 3rd base. Nothing inside the main base yet, because that's where the Mutalisks are going in a crazy aggressive game between the both of them. HyuN can't see up that position, so he can't attack up there. And is he going to get this hatchery? The Overseer's coming in. It looks like he's going to defend it, but the Mutalisks are inside the main base. This hatchery, very close, but it isn't going to go down. Mutalisks enter the main base. And PartinG, who was expecting a Hydralisk to be around, and that's the majority of the force of HyuN, is now being fully surprised.
Yeah, PartinG is taking a 4th base a little bit too fast in this game. Rushing it, you know, a little bit when he really needs to be securing the bases he currently has with more units, some cannons. Gonna try to go for the snipe here.
No, there's an Overseer. This is gonna get spotted and stopped very easily there. PartinG tries to grab the 4th hatchery, and HyuN just deflecting attack after attack after attack of PartinG, who has his 4th base up now.
This 4th base, I think, might make PartinG lose. He could have had so many more units if he hadn't gone for that. I don't think HyuN even cares. He just has to attack into the army, crush it, and he won. Army supply 129 to 80. How is PartinG gonna hold? I know force fields are good, but are they that good?
That doesn't look like it. Here come 3 or 4. He gets 1 or 2 Hydralisks, blinks forward, grabs another. And HyuN's going to take the fight on this high ground. He's got a lot of Hydralisks. Mueller's still doing damage inside the main base. And PartinG's going to have to fight and micro and control once again. This is a pretty good start for PartinG, though. Clears up a lot of the Zerglings, a lot of the Hydralisks. But look how many there are. Mueller's still doing damage, and a big reinforcement wave into the main from PartinG that is not helping his main army to the left-hand side.
A Colossus is about to come out. And with the Mothership Core down, there's not going to be any Photon Overcharge to work with here for PartinG.
Cybercore down, breaking this wall slowly. PartinG comes to defend on this left. The Colossus doing quite a bit of damage. The Mueller's trying to bring this Colossus.
The Guardian Shield doing wonders here for the Stalkers of PartinG, who's just blinking back. The Colossus falls! He'd get sniped by the 2 Mutas and the Hydras that were there.
But look at this, PartinG's going to be able to clean this attack up. The Hydras are now gone, and PartinG in a very clean fight and defense there. Keeps the 4th base alive. Destroys what HyuN has on the other side of the map.
The army supply is so close now too. 66 to 91. I mean, this is pretty good for PartinG here all of a sudden.
Dark Templar in the mix as well, and there's no Overseer, and he's going to blink forward to force the fight as the Dark Templar continues to do massive amounts of damage, and PartinG pushes HyuN back. What a crazy back and forth game here in a challenge to the final, in a challenge to the grand final between these 2 players. As HyuN looking to tie this series up. PartinG looking to move forward. He blinks very aggressively there. maybe overly aggressively, as Zerglings get a couple of kills on the Stalkers, but once again, the aggression slows down and both players back off. PartinG looking for position on the third.
Remember what I told you, man. Tier 2 Zerg on lair tech, you max out, you've won. PartinG doesn't even particularly have to be aggressive right now, but I guess he wants to.
Yeah, he wants to. He's continuing to blink these Stalkers and loses quite a few of them, though. Still the Dark Templar on the mix, which the Overseer just got taken down, so the Dark Templar going to have a field day amongst these Hydralisks and allowing PartinG a lot of free kills again. Colossus are building up back at home, remember? And that's something that we don't really see a reaction or an answer to from HyuN.
Is that the first Colossus that's coming back
I think
out?
it's the second that's been... No, okay, it is the first.
He lost the other one. 84 army supply for PartinG, 108 for HyuN. I don't think this is looking good at all here for HyuN. 103 Hydralisk were killed.
All right, HyuN looking for another fight. More and more Hydralisk. He's only on these 4 bases. PartinG has a better economy, a better infrastructure, better tech. And he's going to harass at the same time with this Warp Prism, Dark Templars and Zealots, as he continues to fight in the middle of the map. He's going to fall back to his Colossus. And right now, HyuN, his entire army is on the other side of the map. So with the Warp Prism harassment coming to this base, Dark Templars in there as well. He does have a few Hydrals to defend, bringing back his main army, actually.
Oh, he's going to go for the main with the Prism, but he's going to get sniped before Apollo!
That's a lot of units in there. I think there was like 2, if not 4 Dark Templars.
Yeah.
A couple defending.
But remember, HyuN is still on lair tech, 125 army supply against 92. The force field is going to reign supreme.
Yeah, it takes 2 force fields, grabs 3 Hydralisks. And Colossus now in the game, his second Colossus. There's a lot of force fields now. PartinG's going to fall back. He force fields the ramps on the south. He's going to force field on the west as well. Zergling's just running into their death. And again,
This is so funny.
it's so crazy, so much action back and forth between both, but there is simply no answer for the Colossus. It has to be a full surround coming out from HyuN. There's a lot of force fields to protect. We know how fast Colossus are going to burn every single one of these light units.
This is pure Hydras at this point here. There is 2 Colossi out. If PartinG just waits for a third or fourth one, he's even going for it now with the force field.
He's going to use the ramp to his advantage here. He can force field very nicely and cut up this Hydralisk army. The Colossus now, with its range, going to do a lot of damage. 8 Corruptors are on the way. That is the answer that HyuN is trying to go for. He's cut off the army. He's going to take down this hatchery, and this is a big move already for PartinG. But the question is, will the Corruptors on the way out be enough? The Overseers are getting sniped. This means Dark Templar can be warped in to do more damage. Another consideration HyuN must go for. 2 Corruptors are going to pop right from there. They just get cancelled because they're not going to be worth anything in this game.
PartinG is maxed out, Apollo.
HyuN is going to have to make the full defense. This is it. Is PartinG going to the finals in his debut of the StarCraft 2 DreamHack tournament? Is it going to happen? Dark Templars got mixed in. I don't see any Overseers, and I definitely see a lot of Colossus damage here, Todd. And PartinG is crushing through. He blinks forward, and PartinG is going to the grand finals. GG! PartinG with a 3-1 victory over HyuN, a 3-0 victory versus Reign. PartinG is our first grand finalist here of the DreamHack Open Tour. Stopped in live from France. What a fantastic performance. Let's hear some words on stage with him.
Before we hear what PartinG has to say, Tor, give it up for your first grand finalist, PartinG! PartinG. First of all, before the series, you said that it would be an easy 3-0. It wasn't, in fact, an easy 3-0. However, let's just jump right into that game 1 when you lost. After sounding so confident and saying it was going to be a 3-0, when you lost the first game, did that throw you off a little bit? 아까 저는 인터뷰에서는 3-0으로 되게 자신감 있게 얘기를 하셨는데 이제 첫 경기를 졌잖아요. 그래서 그런 것 때문에 좀 당황을 했는지.
솔직히 좀 많이 창피했고, 이거 지면 이 경기까지 지면은 진짜 3-0으로 제가 질 수도 있다라는 생각으로 경기 임했는데 운이 좀 많이 따라줬던 것 같고 역시 제가 럭키맨인 것 같고 그래서 이긴 것 같아요. 그래서.
So he says, when I lost that first game, honestly, I was so embarrassed. And I thought, wow, if I lose the second game too, I felt like I could even lose 3-0. So I thought that game too, I really needed to win. And fortunately enough, my tactic worked. I felt that in that situation, I really was like a lucky guy. So it worked out in my favor. And now we're going to talk about that game 4. PartinG, it was crazy. I honestly thought that you were going to lose. It seemed like you were at a disadvantage, but you just had amazing micro. Walk us through how you were able to come back in that game. 지금 마지막 경기에서 되게 좀 불리했어요. 우리가 봤을 때는. 근데 진짜 컨트롤도 너무 대단했고 어떻게 그렇게 이겼어요? 역전하고?
제 PvZ 스타일이 진짜 컨트롤만 빌리브하고 하는 스타일이어서 그래서 저는 진짜 제가 프로토스 중에는 넘버 원이라 생각하거든요. 컨트롤 부분에서는. 그래서 그런 싸움을 좋아해요. 그런 양상, 그런 상황을. 그래서 그게 딱 나와서 그 방송에서 잘 보여줬던 것 같고 게임하면서 제가 불리했지만 그래도 속마음으로는 충분히 이길 수 있다라는 생각으로 경기 임했는데 그게 잘 된 것 같아요.
So he says, my PvZ style is a style where if I can micro my best, then I can still win. So that I feel like amongst all the Protoss players in the world, I feel like my micro is the best. And in this game too, even though I was at a disadvantage, despite that, I thought in my head, I can still definitely win this game. I'm actually really glad that the situation came out so I could show you guys how great my micro is and how I was able to come back in the game because of my great control. So I'm actually really glad that that situation came out. And PartinG, you are a very successful player. You've won many different kinds of tournaments, but this is your first ever DreamHack. And that being said, despite that it's your first DreamHack, you're now in the grand finals and you're in front of this huge crowd and they're just absolutely amazing cheering for you. I mean, what is going through your head right now? 원희석 선수 같은 경우에는 되게 많은 대회를 다녔어요. 근데 이게 첫 드림핵인데 이런 팬들한테 진짜 좋은 팬들한테 한마디 영어.
봉주루. Messi, my fans. I love you, my French fan, and Hearthstone, Mini Ranger, Genocide. Thank you, Talga.
Thank you very much, PartinG, and best of luck in the grand finals. We'll find out who will face him in our next match. It'll be Gumio versus True, so stay tuned after this commercial break.